Today, I want to talk about why I'm buying Nintendo 3DS games in 2023, nearly 12 years after the handheld came out. Let's talk about it. Hello there everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Botox Media. Today we are talking 3DS, of course, as you saw in the title of the video. Now, if you know me, you know I love the 3DS. I don't want to do like the whole drawn out introduction. The 3DS is my favorite handheld of all time, especially if you don't count the Switch as a handheld, which I personally don't really view it that way. I grew up with the 3DS. I'm 22 now, so I was like that perfect age when the 3DS was the current Nintendo console. It's the same reason I love the Wii U. These were just the things I grew up with. I grew up with Wii U, I grew up with 3DS, and that's why I want to collect them. Now, I know I'm just going to get this out of the way before I get a bunch of comments. Yes, you can just mod your 3DS and have all these games and not pay the expensive prices. I have a modded 3DS, guys. I get it. But the point is, having that physical game is so satisfying. Having that physical product of something that you enjoy, that for me just is nice to have. If you don't like collecting, then this video isn't for you. But the 3DS is, I think, honestly, one of the most underrated handhelds. I see the DS get a lot of love, and maybe I'm just missing something there, but especially from Nintendo's first-party output, I think that it was really lacking. GBA was pretty good, but 3DS is really where I think Nintendo kind of hit their handheld stride, so to speak, because every franchise kind of just had a banger. I'm talking Mario, I'm talking Kirby, Zelda, Kid Icarus, like, every first-party Nintendo franchise had some really great games on the 3DS, and the reason that I'm buying these games up now is, well, there's a couple of reasons, but mostly because I really don't think they're going to get ported. I think most 3DS games are going to get kind of forgotten, and because, as we'll get into, they'll probably go up in price. So let's just go in and talk about that. In 2022, Nintendo announced that the Wii U and 3DS eShop would be closing, or not necessarily closing, but you won't be able to buy anything from them anymore. And when that happened, of course, prices kind of skyrocketed. Maybe one slight part to me kind of making videos, my bad, sorry guys, but they've gone down a lot now, so I've been kind of just buying while they're low. And this isn't a price speculation video, don't get me wrong, but basically once the eShop is gone, and that's going to be in March of this year, the prices are probably going to start going up again. Right now they're pretty damn low. I've been getting some really good deals on the 3DS games I was missing in my collection, and I wanted to kind of talk about some of those, some of the franchises I'm excited to play, some of the games I'm excited to play for the first time, and just kind of walk you through why I'm buying these games. So obviously that's the core reason, right, is the eShop closure and wanting to have these games in my collection. I'm a huge collector. I'm going for a full Wii U set because it's not my favorite console by any means, but the Wii U is something very special to me, and I grew up with it, and I'm already really close. Like, I have, like, I think I'm missing 27 games at this point, between all regions. If it was just North America, I'm missing, like, 9 or something at this point, so I'm already getting close to that. But with 3DS, and this might even be, like, a whole separate thing I might make a video on soon, is I already have most of the really good games. Like, there's, like, a handful of first-party Nintendo-published games I don't have, and I do want to get those. But even now that I'm going for a lot of these Atlus games, which I sorely missed last year, and they went up in price. Now that they're down in price, I've been trying to scoop them up. Now that I'm getting those, I'm looking at the list of 3DS games, and I'm like, man, I might have to just go for a full set. I'm not committing to that. I'm certainly not committing to that, and I certainly won't do all regions. But maybe just like a nice North American set of 3DS games would be really satisfying. But I digress. Let's talk about why I'm actually buying these things in terms of just the games. So I have a stack here of games, and I want to kind of explain with each one why I'm buying them and why I think that maybe you should if you are interested in these 3DS games. I think the biggest reason, and also I bought this 2DS recently. I did a video on this, go check it out. I think the main reason for me, though, is what I mentioned. I don't think these games are really ever going to get ported to Switch. I think there's a couple 3DS games that could. I think something like Kid Icarus Uprising, which is in the stack and we'll get to, and in fact, we'll just go to this right now. I think Kid Icarus Uprising could eventually end up getting ported to Switch. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. Maybe a future Nintendo console. I don't think something like Fire Emblem Awakening is out of the realm of possibility. I think that could come to a future Nintendo console. But a lot of these things, and maybe even these Kirby games, which we'll get to, but there's so many weird games from Nintendo. They might not even be the highest quality games. Something like a Hey Pikmin or a Yoshi's New Island or the Mario & Luigi games, which I don't have here. I don't really see these games ever coming over. And these are all games that, well, in the case of those first two, maybe not the highest quality, but they're all Nintendo games in their own right, and I want to play them. A great example of this, something that there is zero chance this ever comes to a future Nintendo platform, and it's a game I've never played. It's a game that had a very mixed reception, very negative reception, but the reviews were kind of mixed, and that is Metroid Prime Federation Force. I'm really genuinely excited to finally get my hands on this later this year and finally dive into it with some friends online and do a video for you all. And that's just an example, right? Those kind of games, these games I missed. I already played most 3DS games, I feel like, that I really cared about. You know, I played 3D Land, I played A Link Between Worlds, I played both Kirby games last year, or both being Trouble Deluxe and Planet Robobot, and those are right here as well. These I could see getting ported, but either way, these are fantastic games, and you should get them if you haven't. There are so many games like that, though, that I have played, but then there's a lot of games, maybe a little bit lesser tier games, that I haven't played. A great example of this, I don't really remember what the reception was. I think it was a little bit more negative, or at least mixed at the very least. But Codename Steam, this was developed by the team that makes Fire Emblem. It's a tactics game with Abraham Lincoln in it, but also Marth and Lucina are in it. I think Lucina's in it. That's just weird to me and exciting. There are so many 3DS games. They were releasing a 3DS game like every month, and while I tried my best to keep up, I missed out on a lot. Another first-party game here, and this is one I've actually beaten, and this is just more of like a general, this is why I love 3DS. This is my favorite 3DS game. It's my favorite Fire Emblem game. Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia. Sorry about the blown out colors there. This game is absolutely fantastic. If you have not played it, I highly recommend it. But the big thing I've been going for in 2023 so far has been Atlus games. Oh my goodness. There are so many JRPGs on the 3DS, and not even necessarily just Atlus, though they were definitely the biggest proponent of it. I have a couple games coming in the mail right now. I have Devil Summon? No. Soul Hack? No. Overclock 2, Record Breaker, whatever that is called. I have that coming in the mail. I have a Stella Glow coming in the mail, and my intent is to get every Atlus JRPG on the handheld. I also have Mahjong 3D, because that's for some reason published by Atlus. But recently, I picked up a couple of Atlus games that I'm really excited to play, because Atlus has been a sore stop, or a kind of a miss spot for me, right? I've played SMT4. I love that game. It's one of my favorite 3DS games, but I've never played SMT4 Apocalypse. I've never played, this was a very recent pickup. I got a great deal on this, in this cardboard, which is a whole nother topic entirely, of Soul Hackers. I've never played this game, but here we have Devil Summoner Soul Hackers, which is awesome to have on 3DS. I've never played that game. That's super exciting for me. And what's even more exciting, I have no idea if I'll like this franchise. So kind of took a swing. Maybe it'll be a miss. I don't know. With these two games, is Etrian Odyssey. I know there's rumors right now that there's going to be a new Etrian Odyssey on Switch later this year, or not even on Switch, but just a new Etrian Odyssey was basically leaked. I am very excited to check these out. Etrian Odyssey is a franchise I just have not played, but there's like 7 of them on the 3DS. It's crazy. There are so many high quality, and that's me saying high quality based on what I've heard from other people, because I haven't played these games yet. So many high quality JRPGs on the 3DS. And the beauty of it is, if you go on the eShop right now, maybe not like right now when I'm posting this, but it seems to be pretty frequent, they always put these things on sale. If you've already added money to your account, or if you have it linked to your Switch, you can get funds that way. I think Etrian Odyssey Untold was like $10 digitally. Physically, as a collector, they're pretty expensive to go for, and it's obviously a luxury that I can go for these. If not, mod your 3DS. You can just get a 3DS and mod it. I don't even care. Just do it. As a person that's collecting, I don't really do that as much, or if I do it, it's when I have like a sealed copy of a game. Like I have Bravely Default sealed. I recently picked that up. Another game, by the way, that I was excited to pick up and finally play, and eventually I'll get to that this year. Because it's sealed, I just went ahead and modded my 3DS and I downloaded it that way. I don't feel like a weird moral dilemma happening inside of me because I did that. I own the game, so I don't really care. But yeah, there are just so many JRPGs. Right now I'm playing Yokai Watch 1 for the first time, and those games are obviously really expensive, but that's been, well, I guess I'll say my thoughts for the Yokai Watch review. But it's been just nice playing these 3DS games that I never got to, you know? Like I said, I played the main stuff. I played your Kid Icarus. I just played Metroid Samus Returns for the first time. I played your Mario, played your Zelda, played your Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D, played the Kirby's. Even down here I have Sorry. Even like stuff like this. I played this game for some reason. I played Miitopia on Switch. Like, I've played a lot of this stuff, but it's all the stuff like this that I am currently really interested in buying and playing for the first time. And I'm certainly not trying to fearmonger, and I do feel a little bit of guilt for that, doing that last year. I'm going to try to maybe not do that as much this year with 3DS and scalping and prices. Buy them now before they go up in price. And obviously, I'm not... Don't take this as like a financial advice or anything, obviously. I think that should go without saying. But I would only imagine stuff like this will probably go up in value. It might, certainly this year, it will go up in value almost entirely. It might all plummet later, and I mean, even last year, we saw prices go up and then down again. I assume they'll go up again when the eShop finally does close, as other YouTubers and these things, you know, it's just the way of the market, right? And maybe eventually Etrian Odyssey, you know, this I got for I think $90. This will go down in price, or it'll go up in price first, then it'll go back down, and maybe it'll just stay down there. That'd be great. Ideally, these games will stay down in value. I don't care if they hold a value. I just want to own them. But maybe consider buying the games you really want right now. If you want to get Yokai Watch 2 Psychic Spectres, you might want to do that now. But yeah, and as I've collected for this console, I think I recorded my collection video. I don't know when you'll see that. It might already be up. I have no idea. I have about 150 games. There's like 400 American 3DS games from what I can tell. I have almost all of the expensive ones. I mean, there's a couple that are just ridiculous, like Barbie Grooming Glam Pups. That's like a $3,000 game. Never in my life will I do that unless I see it for an insane deal. And then there's stuff like the 3DS Guide Louvre, which is really expensive, and even the Yokai Watch Blasters games are a little bit too much for me. But something like this, I can swing that, you know? I can treat myself to an Etrian Odyssey 2 and hopes that I like it. But yeah, because I have most of these, like, I want to say like $100 range games, if I decided to go for a full set, it really wouldn't be that bad, outside of those few exceptions like Alien Chaos and, you know, like that Barbie game. Because I have basically every first-party Nintendo game. I'm missing a couple that are expensive, like the Yokai Watch games. Well, 2 Psychic Spectres and the Blasters games, I should say. I do have Yokai Watch 3. I'm missing Style Savvy Fashion Forward, which is pretty expensive. Project Cross Zone, those are up there. But for the most part, I have the expensive games, now that I'm whittling down the Atlus collection. There's still like 5 Etrian Odyssey games, there's still Coda Princess, there's still Alliance Alive, and a couple of others, but for the most part, I have the top dollar 3DS games, which makes me very happy. So that is essentially why I'm buying 3DS games in 2023. Not only is it due to the fact that the eShop is closing, so I'm frankly a little scared of prices going up, but it's just because I love this console, and despite the fact that I played most of the big games, there's still a lot that I just haven't gotten to, specifically those JRPGs. So if you're a JRPG fan, I think this is a no-brainer. Get yourself a 3DS or a 2DS or whatever. And if you don't want to collect, just mod it. Just do that. That's completely fine. No moral shame there. Absolutely just do that, especially when the eShop closes, because then there's really no way for you to actually support the developer. So with that said, let me know what you are doing in terms of 3DS collecting down in the comments below. Are you planning on collecting for it? Have you been collecting for it? I know a lot of my viewers have been. And let me know, where is your collection at? Are you pretty content with where it's at? What are you specifically trying to go for? I think a lot of us, at least in my Discord server, are certainly going for those Atlus games. That's kind of been my main grind. There are still other third-party games that I want to get. Metal Gear Solid 3D, Tekken 3D Prime. I recently got Dead or Alive Dimensions in, which is a great game. So there is just plenty. The 3DS library is really rich and diverse, and it's not completely overwhelming. Switch collecting is fun for me. I'm only going for first-party Nintendo games, though, because there's way too much crap from limited run games and all these limited companies. With 3DS, there's like a finite amount, you know? I feel like I could feasibly go for this, or at least in terms of everything I want. Switch, there's no chance I ever get every game I want on Switch. But Wii U and 3DS, it seems pretty doable. So with that said, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, of course, once again, please consider subscribing, liking the video, and following me on Twitter. Check out the Discord for more 3DS collecting and all that. We have a ton of 3DS users in there, I guess is what I should call them. Yeah, until next time, bye-bye.